Hello my crochet friends, welcome back to my channel. So good to have you here. If you have looked at my other video where I taught you how to stitch a half double crochet, we are now going to use that stitch to make our first project using solely half double crochets. And what we have here is a very cute, adorable little cat ear beanie. And this entire beanie is made using just half double crochet stitch. So gather your yarn and your needle and let's get started with me as we make this totally adorable cat ear beanie. Let's go. For this hat we're going to need yarn. I have here baby bee yarn. I chose it because it's just a very chunky yarn. But you can choose any chunky yarn you want. This yarn is from Hobby Lobby and it calls for a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. I tend to use at least a half a size smaller than what the suggested needle size is on the label. So I'll probably be using a size 6 for this, but you can also use whatever size of hook you would like to use. So the yarn, then you'll also need measuring tape. What you'll use this measuring tape for is to measure the size of your hat. It's customizable, you can make it whatever size you want. You will have to measure the size, the length of your hat and the circumference of your hat. And how you measure the length of your hat is from the crown of your head, measure down to the bottom of your earlobe. That's probably like around where you like to wear your hat, and that is how tall you want your hat. So for me that's 9 inches. So if you also want a brim on your hat, you could maybe add like 2 inches depending on the size of brim you'd like on your hat. For me though, my length or height of hat is actually 9 inches and the circumference of my head is 21 inches. I will actually be making my hat for 20 inches because I'm going to take off an extra inch so that I can have a little bit of a snug fit on my hat. So that is what you'll use your measuring tape for. You'll need a yarn needle, stitch markers if you choose, and I use like a knitting needle in the stitching together of this hat, which we'll cover when we get to that point, and obviously a pair of scissors. So let's get started. I will be using a size 6 hook. Okay, so we'll start by making chain that will get to the length of the height of your hat. For me that should be 9 inches. So I will make chains until we get to that height. What I will do though is add an inch or so to that measurement, because sometimes your chains will actually get shortened when you start making your half double crochet. So let's see how many chains we'll end up with to give me a 9 inch, or let's say 9.5, 10 inch hat. 10 inch, I'll settle with 10 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30. So I have 30 chains here, and for this size of yarn, the 30 chains measure just a little over 10 inches. So I think I'll settle with I'll settle for the 10 inches actually, and make my hat that depth or that height. So I got 10 inches for 30 stitches, and so now it's time to start making the first round or the first row of our hat. So what I'll do is chain 1 and then turn back, and we will do a half double stitch. This hat is made out of half double crochets, and for a quick refresher, or half double crochet is when you will yarn over and you will go in through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook, and that's a half double crochet. So repeat in every stitch of your chain, half double crochet, yarn over, in through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three. Once again, in through the stitch, yarn over, pull through all three, in, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three. So this is our half double crochet. So I'll keep doing that until we get to the end, and we will meet back up there. Okay, so that will be the height of my hat. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next round of our hat, and what we'll do is make our turning chain, and then in this row and all the other rows to follow, we'll do something a little different. Normally we would work our next row in through this chain and this chain and this chain until we get to the end of the row. But for this particular hat, what we're actually going to do is we're going to work through the back loop of the chain. So we have, you see, this is the chain, this is the front loop, this is the back loop. So front loop, back loop. We're going to put our needle or crochet hook through this loop only. So that's called back loop only. So we'll work our half double crochet into the back loop only, down through the rest of the row and through for the rest of this project. So half double crochet in through the back loop and half double crochet, half double crochet, back loop, half double crochet, back loop, half double crochet, back loop. And what that will actually give us is this little ridge here that gives it a little bit of extra texture, almost like a knitting look or a stockinette type look. And you'll see when we get to the other end. So again, remember, work on the back loop of your stitch. So here we go, half double crochet, back loop, and let's go all the way again down the row. This is the effect that back loop gives us. See that little ridge there? That's the look we're looking for. So we'll do our turning chain and turn again and repeat that exact same thing for the rest of this project. So half double crochet in through the back loop, half double crochet, back loop only, half double crochet, back loop only. And we get that look on both sides. So this project will have the same look on either side. There's the ridge again being formed on this side, and there we have it on this side too. So it does give us that stockinette knitting type look, but it's just in a chunky version. What you'll end up here is a piece of fabric that will be the measurement of the height of your hat times the circumference of your head. So for me, that will be, I'm looking at a 10-inch by a 20-inch piece of crocheted fabric. For whatever measurement it is that your hat should be, that's what you're working toward too. So I'll see you when we get to 10 inches by 20 inches. Okay, so here I have finished my 10 by 20 piece of crocheted fabric. Look at the beautiful ridging that you get. It is double-sided, so you can join from either side. And how we will put it together is by folding it over on itself like this, and we will join this side and this side. Because this is double-sided, you can join it on any side, but this is the side I'm choosing to use today. And you can use a yarn needle to join it, or you can join it with a slip stitch, and today that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a slip stitch. So in order to get the slip stitch going, what I'll do is on the opposite side I will put my crochet hook and I will pull my yarn through like this, pull it through to the other side so I can do a slip stitch. So I'll bring my yarn through and I will just join stitch by stitch all the way down with a slip stitch. So here I'll be going through this loop, and then through the front loop this time. Remember, we used the back loop for the actual project itself, for the actual fabric. To join, I will choose to use the front loop. And the reason for that is if I use the front loop on this side, what it'll end up showing is the back loop, which will actually then kind of look like this ridge here. So it'll make the pattern look continuous. So front loop instead of the back loop. Again, refresher. If this is your chain here, this is your back loop and this is your front loop. I'm going to go through the front loop all the way down. Okay, so through this loop that's on the side facing me, and then through the front loop that's on the side, on the opposite side. So here we go, in through this loop and in through the front loop of the opposite side, and do a slip stitch. Oh, I went through both loops there. Okay, and then repeat that all the way down. So through this loop and then through the front loop, slip stitch, through and through. And so once you get to the end, what you can do is fasten off, which you cut off the edge of cut off your yarn and fasten off by pulling the tail through that loop and then tightening it down. And so this is your beanie on the wrong side. These are your seams all along here. Now you can turn it over onto the right side. And when you turn it over to the right side, make sure you stretch out really well the corners, because these corners are actually going to be the tips of your ears for the cat ear. So here we have, this is the right side of your beanie. It's quite cute, really. I love this texture. And what you're going to do now is measure what size you want your ear to be. I'm thinking usually I will choose like at around 3 inches. So 3 inches this way and 3 inches this way. So what I do is use these. These are actually knitting needles that I added a little decorative button to, so that I can use it for things like that, to hold pieces in place for my crochet work. You can get these at any craft store. They're little knitting needles. If not, you can also mark your spot with stitch marker, but I'm going to use these because this is what I prefer. You can use whichever method works best for you. So I'm going to choose to mark 3 inches down. So 3 inches down is right around here, and I'll put my needle in there and then leave it there until I also measure from the top 3 inches in, and there's 3 inches. So what I'll do is just take my needle, my knitting needle, and just move it on toward that direction and hold the mark of the 3 inches right there. So that's 3 inches. And this will be the mark of 3 inches. So there we have 3 inches there. And I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. So those are actually what your cat ears will be. If you see, they're even and now ready. And how we're going to make these permanent is you'll take a piece of your yarn, the same color, and cut measure like the length of the ear and maybe twice that length, cut a piece of yarn that length. And then what you'll do is get this onto your yarn needle. And then from the inside, you'll put your yarn needle in from the inside right to where the knitting needle goes through. So right there. And then pull it through and leave a little tail on the inside. If you'll notice, I have that right there. Leave that tail there. And then now from the outside, just do a very staggered stitch in and out with the yarn up to where, oops, sorry, I need to make sure I didn't pull out my tail. There it is. So just pull in and out, staggering all the way to the top, all along that line. And then once you're up to the top, what you'll do is now take this out and then take the yarn needle and put it back into the underside of your hat. So you can turn it inside out and you'll see your needle is in here. And then so pull it all the way through. This is where you can tighten down your ears. So if you look at it from the outside, you can see your ear is right there. You can kind of almost see it more defined, but how you'll get it even more defined is by pulling on the ends of that piece of yarn you just weave through. And when you pull it, that's what you get. You get the cat ear. You can pull it from both sides, and there you have a very well-defined cat ear. So from there, what you do is tie a knot on the inside. And you can trim this piece of fabric. I like to, this piece of yarn, I like to wait until both ears are done. So here's one side, and then we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. And we get to define this side of the hat, the ear. So just pull. You can see what I'm doing here. I have both ends, and as I pull, it pulls on the hat. So try to make them as even as you can, and then that looks kind of even. That looks pretty even to me. And then tie a knot on the underside. Okay, so there is your cat hat beanie. And then I like one of the reasons I like leaving the tails behind is that way I can adjust the ears if I want to make them even more defined. So that is why I leave the tail, and then after I'm absolutely sure that I am happy with it, then I will cut the tails. So I'm happy with that. So I can cut off the tails. Maybe I'll put in one extra knot just in case. Keep it secure. And now I can cut off the tails. And you don't mind if you leave a little tail there because this is all on the inside. And there is your cat hat. Isn't it so cute? I think it's really nice and green. Green is one of my favorite color. If you made one along with me, let me know in the comments what color you made yours. If you like this project, if you like this video, please do remember to like and subscribe, and we will continue on our journey of learning more and more projects together. See you for the next video. Bye bye. And as I crochet, just want to show you what I have here, making sure that I get every stitch correct. That's Miss Belle, and she loves to sit at the window looking at me through the curtain as I do my crochet work. Just thought I'd share my sweet little Belle with you.